They never expected quiet, unassuming Liam to unravel their empire of lies. I was the invisible guy at Pinnacle Solutions, tucked away in my corner cubicle, crunching numbers, believing every keystroke helped families build secure futures. I bought into the company's polished mission, helping people plan for retirement, college, emergencies. That faith was my anchor, the thing that kept me showing up day after day, even when the corporate jargon and endless meetings wore me down. But one late night, a single email shattered everything I thought I knew. It was past 9, the office deserted except for the hum of fluorescent lights and the faint whir of my computer. I was digging through client accounts, trying to fix a discrepancy for a woman who'd called earlier, frantic about her retirement fund. She'd sounded desperate, her voice trembling as she explained it was all she had left after her husband passed. I wanted to help her, to make it right. That's when I stumbled across a hidden folder buried deep in the server, labeled archive_backup_23. Curiosity got the better of me, and I clicked. Inside were emails between my boss, Marcus, and the CFO, Evelyn. They weren't discussing market trends or client portfolios. No, they were gloating about siphoning millions from client accounts, funneling it into a shell company called Horizon Ventures. "The sheep won't notice," Evelyn wrote in one email, her words cold and casual. Marcus replied, "Keep them dreaming, and we keep winning." My stomach churned. These were people's life savings, money for hospital bills, kids' educations, dreams of a stable future. The woman I'd spoken to earlier? Her fund was likely one of their targets. Marcus had been my mentor for years. He'd taken me under his wing when I started at Pinnacle, a nervous kid fresh out of college. He'd invited me to his lake house, shared beers, told me I was like family. Evelyn, too, had always been kind, her warm smiles and morning coffees made the office feel less sterile. Now, their betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined. They weren't just stealing money, they were stealing trust, hope, everything that mattered. I printed the emails, my hands shaking as the printer whirred. The pages felt heavy, like evidence of a crime I couldn't unsee. Going to the authorities was an option, sure, but it felt too clean, too distant. I wanted Marcus and Evelyn to face the weight of what they'd done, to feel the same gut punch I was feeling. My mind raced with possibilities. How could I expose them without losing my job, my safety, maybe everything? I needed help, someone I could trust. That's when I thought of Clara, a junior analyst with a sharp mind and a knack for spotting patterns. I'd seen her question numbers in meetings, her brow furrowed when things didn't add up. The next morning, I met Clara at a quiet cafe across town. I slid the printed emails toward her, watching her face pale as she read. "Liam, this is huge," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They're powerful. If they find out you know," she trailed off, but I saw the fear in her eyes. "I need your help," I said. "We can't let them get away with this." She hesitated, then nodded. "Okay. But we have to be careful. I've seen odd numbers too, but I was too scared to dig." As we left the cafe, I felt a spark of hope. Clara was in, my first ally in a fight I barely understood. But when I got to my apartment that night, a sticky note was taped to my door: "Stop digging, or you'll regret it." My heart pounded. Someone knew I was onto them. But who? Was it Marcus, Evelyn, or someone else entirely? I clutched the note, my resolve hardening. This was just the beginning. That sticky note on my door was like a cold slap, a warning that someone was watching me before I'd even made a move. I stuffed it in my pocket, my mind racing as I headed to Pinnacle Solutions the next morning. The office felt different now, every smile seemed forced, every glance suspicious. I kept my head down, playing the part of quiet Liam, but inside, I was burning. Marcus and Evelyn had betrayed not just me, but every client who trusted them. I wasn't going to let it slide. I met Clara again at the same cafe, away from prying eyes. She looked nervous, her fingers tapping the table as I showed her the note. They know you're curious, Liam, she said, her voice low. This is dangerous. I leaned in, keeping my tone steady. That's why we need proof. Can you access the server logs? Clara hesitated, her eyes darting to the door. I can try, she said finally. But we have to be smart. They're not just greedy, they're careful. That night, we stayed late in the office, the silence heavy around us. Clara's fingers flew over her keyboard, pulling encrypted server logs. What we found made my blood run cold. Millions funneled to Horizon Ventures, disguised as consulting fees. It was clever, but sloppy enough to trace. As we worked, Clara opened up, her voice soft but firm. I joined Pinnacle because I believed in it, she said. My dad lost everything to a scam like this years ago. His savings, his house, gone. I thought this place was different, that I could help people avoid that kind of pain. Now I see the truth. Her story hit me hard. This wasn't just about my betrayal anymore, it was personal for her too. We'll stop them, I promised, feeling the weight of her trust. Clara nodded, a spark of determination in her eyes. She wasn't just an ally, she was a partner in this fight, someone who understood the stakes as deeply as I did. As we packed up, I noticed a shadow in the parking lot outside. Someone was watching from a car, their face hidden in the dark. I froze, pretending to check my phone, but the car sped off before I could get a good look. My pulse raced. Were we already in too deep? The next morning, Marcus called me into his office. You've been staying late, Liam, he said, his smile tight, almost predatory. Everything okay? His eyes bored into me, searching for a crack. I shrugged, playing dumb, but my heart was hammering. He knew something, I was sure of it. Back at my desk, I tried to focus, but my mind was elsewhere. Clara texted me during lunch, found something big in Evelyn's files. Meet me tonight at the cafe. My stomach twisted with anticipation and dread. What had she uncovered? Was it the key to exposing Marcus and Evelyn, or something that would put us in even greater danger? I glanced around the office, catching Travis, the IT guy, staring at me from across the room. His usual grin was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating look. Was he involved? As I left for the day, I couldn't shake the feeling that the walls were closing in. Clara's text had me on edge all day. Her message about Evelyn's files felt like a lifeline, but also a warning, we were digging into something much bigger than I'd realized. At Pinnacle Solutions, I kept up my routine, nodding politely, crunching numbers, but every interaction felt like a performance. Marcus's probing questions from yesterday lingered in my mind, and Travis's stare in the cafeteria didn't help. I needed answers, and Clara's discovery might be the key. We met at the cafe after work, the dim lighting casting shadows on Clara's face as she slid her laptop toward me. Look at this, she said, pulling up emails from Evelyn's account. They weren't just about Horizon Ventures, they named a board member, Natalie, as the shell company's overseer. The scam wasn't just Marcus and Evelyn, it was a network, a web of deceit stretching across Pinnacle's leadership. This is bigger than we thought, I said, my voice low. Clara nodded. We need to know who else is involved. Natalie's meeting someone tomorrow. Public records show she's been seen with a lawyer named Victor. Victor. The name rang a bell. I'd seen it on a board memo once, buried in fine print. He's their fixer, Clara said, her eyes sharp. If we can tie him to Horizon, we've got them. I agreed, but the sticky note from my door flashed in my mind. Someone was watching, and we were running out of time. Clara suggested a bold move. Sneak into a board meeting to gather evidence. It was risky, insane, even, but we had no choice. We needed hard proof to take them down. The next day, we posed as temps, using fake IDs Clara had somehow pulled together. My heart pounded as we slipped into the boardroom, blending in with the catering staff. Natalie and Victor were there, their voices low as they discussed streamlining accounts, a clear code for their fraud. I recorded it all on my phone, hidden in my pocket, every word a nail in their coffin. Clara's eyes met mine across the room, a silent signal to stay calm. We were so close to breaking this open. But as we left, I caught Travis watching us from the lobby. His grin was gone, replaced by a cold stare that sent a chill down my spine. Did he know what we were doing? Back at my apartment, we reviewed the recording. It was damning. Natalie and Victor all but admitted to the scam, but it wasn't enough to go public yet. We needed more, something airtight. Clara suggested contacting a journalist, someone who could amplify our findings. I agreed, but the risk was growing. Whoever left that note knew I was digging, and now Clara was in their sights too. That night, my phone buzzed with an anonymous email, "You're playing a dangerous game. Back off." My blood ran cold. How did they know we'd been at the meeting? Was it Travis, or someone higher up? Clara was out of town, visiting her dad, but I couldn't shake the fear that she wasn't safe. The web was tightening, and I had no idea who we could trust. That anonymous email hit me like a punch. Someone was tracking us, and we barely scratched the surface of Pinnacle's scam. I sat in my apartment, staring at the words on my screen, "You're playing a dangerous game." My first thought was Clara. Was she safe? She was visiting her dad, but the thought of her being targeted because of me made my chest tight. I'd dragged her into this, and now the stakes were higher than ever. At the office, I kept my head down, but every glance felt like a threat. Travis was everywhere, fixing a printer, lingering in the break room, his eyes always finding me. Was he the one sending the emails? I couldn't confront him without proof, but his silence unnerved me. Marcus, too, was acting strange, his usual charm replaced by sharp questions. "You seem distracted, Liam," he said during a team meeting, his smile not reaching his eyes. I mumbled an excuse, but my nerves were frayed. I met Clara at the cafe when she returned. She looked tired but determined. "They're scared, Liam," she said, her voice steady. "That email means we're close." I admired her courage, but guilt gnawed at me. "If this gets too dangerous, we stop," I said. She shook her head. "Not until they're exposed. My dad's still paying for a scam like this. I won't let it happen to others." We decided to contact Hannah, a journalist known for exposing corporate fraud. We met her at a park, away from Pinnacle's reach. I handed her our evidence, the emails, the recording, the server logs. "This is huge," she said, her eyes scanning the pages. "But you need more to make it stick. Something undeniable." Clara suggested digging into Pinnacle's financial backups, where older transactions might be stored. It was a long shot, but it could tie Natalie and Victor to the scam. That night, we accessed the backups from Clara's laptop, using a VPN to cover our tracks. We found records of transfers to Horizon Ventures, some dating back years. It was a goldmine, but it meant the scam had been running longer than we thought. As we saved the files, I caught Travis staring at me in the office the next day. "You're causing trouble, Liam," he said in the break room, his voice low. I played dumb, but my heart was racing. Was he reporting to Marcus? Later, I found another note on my car, "Last warning." My stomach dropped. Clara was safe for now, but the threats were escalating. I called Hannah, desperate for progress. "I found something on Victor," she said. "Meet me tomorrow at the library." My mind raced. What could she have uncovered? Was it the key to ending this, or a trap set by Pinnacle? I looked at the note again, its words burning into me. Time was running out, and I wasn't sure who we could trust anymore. Hannah's call gave me a flicker of hope, but the note on my car, "Last warning," kept me on edge. I couldn't shake the feeling that Pinnacle was closing in. Clara was back in town, her determination unwavering despite the risks. We were in too deep to stop, but guilt weighed heavy. I'd pulled her into this fight, and now her safety was on the line. At the office, I kept my routine, coffee, cubicle, fake smiles, but Marcus's probing glances and Travis's cold stares made it hard to focus. I needed answers, and Hannah's discovery might be our breakthrough. We met Hannah at a library, where she shared Victor's history, lawsuits he'd buried for Pinnacle, keeping their secrets safe. "He's their shield," she said. "Expose him, and the whole operation crumbles." I handed her our latest findings, the backup records showing years of transfers to Horizon Ventures. Her eyes lit up. "This is it," she said. "But we need proof of the next transfer to seal it." Clara nodded. "It's scheduled for Friday. We can monitor it live." That night, we set up at Clara's apartment, watching the transfer in real time through a backdoor she'd found in the system. Millions moved to Horizon, each click a piece of the puzzle. We saved screenshots, sending them to Hannah. It felt like a victory, but the weight of the threats lingered. Marcus pulled me aside the next day. "You seem off, Liam," he said, his tone sharp. "Anything you want to share?" I shrugged, but my nerves were shot. He was fishing, and I was running out of lies. Clara got a call that afternoon. Her dad's neighbor had received a strange letter, warning him to stay out of trouble. Her face paled. "They're targeting my family," she said, her voice shaking. Guilt hit me like a wave. This was my fault, I'd pushed us too far. Clara refused to back down, but I could see the strain in her eyes. "We're close, Liam," she said. "We can't stop now." I nodded, but doubt crept in. Were we fighting for justice, or just inviting danger? Hannah texted that night, "The story's ready, but there's a problem." My heart sank. What could derail us now? Was it Pinnacle's influence, or something else entirely? I looked at Clara, her jaw set, and knew we had to keep going. But as I left her apartment, I noticed a car parked across the street, its driver hidden in the shadows. My pulse raced. Were they watching us, waiting for the right moment to strike? I clutched my phone, ready to call Hannah, but a new question gnawed at me: had we underestimated our enemies? Hannah's text about a problem kept me up all night. The car outside Clara's apartment didn't help, its shadowy driver had vanished, but the memory lingered. Pinnacle was tightening the noose, and we were running out of time. Clara and I met at the cafe, her eyes tired but fierce. "What's the issue with Hannah?" she asked. I shook my head. She didn't say. "We need to meet her. But first, we had to protect our evidence." The screenshots from the transfer were damning, but we needed more to ensure Pinnacle couldn't wiggle free. Hannah explained the problem at a diner: if we publish too soon, they'll cover their tracks. We need the transfer to finalize. Clara nodded. "It's happening tomorrow. We'll get it." But I was uneasy. The warning letter to Clara's dad meant they were targeting our families now. I felt responsible, but Clara's resolve was unshakable. "My dad would want me to fight," she said. "This is bigger than us." We dug deeper, finding emails where Natalie instructed Travis to lock down the system. He was their tech enforcer, blocking our access to new files. Clara had an idea: let's leak a hint to spook them. If the board panics, they'll make mistakes. It was brilliant but risky. We crafted an anonymous tip, sending it to a business blog. The next morning, the office was chaos, whispers of a data breach spread like wildfire. Marcus and Evelyn held closed-door meetings, their faces tense. We'd hit a nerve. But Travis cornered me in the break room. "You're stirring trouble, Liam," he said, his voice low and cold. I played dumb, but my heart was pounding. He knew something, maybe everything. That night, Clara called, frantic. Her email had been hacked, our drafts to Hannah were gone. "They're one step ahead," she said. I felt the walls closing in. How were they finding us? Hannah texted later: "An insider contacted me. Meet at the pier tonight. My mind raced. An insider? Was it a trap, or a chance to break this wide open? Clara insisted on coming, but I told her to stay safe. We can't both be exposed, I said. She reluctantly agreed, but as I headed to the pier, I couldn't shake the feeling I was walking into something dangerous. The ocean's roar drowned out my thoughts as I waited in the dark. Who was this insider, and what did they know? The pier was cold and empty, the ocean's waves a steady roar as I waited for Hannah. Her text about an insider had me on edge. Was this a breakthrough or a setup? When she arrived, she wasn't alone. A man in a hoodie stepped forward, his face shadowed. "I'm Victor," he said, his voice low. "I'm done with Pinnacle. Marcus is out of control." My jaw dropped. Victor, their lawyer, was turning on them. He handed me a USB drive. "Memos," he said. "Every transfer, every lie. This'll bury them." I was stunned. Victor, the man who'd buried Pinnacle's secrets, was now our ally. Clara and I reviewed the memos at her apartment, our excitement tempered by suspicion. They detailed the scam, dates, amounts, accounts, all tied to Marcus, Evelyn, and Natalie. It was everything we needed, but why was Victor helping us? "Maybe he's scared," Clara said. "Or he's playing us." I didn't know what to believe, but we sent the memos to Hannah. The blog leak had done its job, clients were calling Pinnacle, demanding answers. The office was a pressure cooker, with Marcus barking orders and Evelyn avoiding eye contact. I kept my head down, but Victor's betrayal made me question everyone. Was he truly on our side, or was this a trick to flush us out? Clara urged caution. "We wait for Hannah to publish," she said. "No more risks until then." But that night, I got home to find my apartment door unlocked. Nothing was taken, but a note sat on my table: "You can't hide." My heart raced. Clara was safe, but for how long? I called Hannah, desperate for progress. "The story's almost ready," she said. "But Victor's nervous. He's meeting someone tonight." My mind spun. Was Victor double-crossing us, or was someone else pulling the strings? Hannah's story hit the news like a bomb, exposing Pinnacle's fraud in brutal detail. Clients flooded the office with lawsuits, regulators swarmed, and Marcus, Evelyn, and Natalie were hauled into court, their polished facades crumbling. Travis vanished before anyone could question him, leaving his desk empty. Victor's memos were the final nail, tying every transfer to their names. Pinnacle was finished, and we'd done it. Clara and I watched the news from a cafe, our relief tinged with exhaustion. "We did it, Liam," she said, her smile faint. But the victory felt hollow. We'd lost our trust in people, our sense of safety. The notes, the hacked emails, the car outside Clara's apartment, they'd left scars. I wasn't the quiet Liam anymore, but I wasn't sure who I'd become. The office closed, and I started looking for a new job, but the mystery of the notes lingered. Who had sent them? Was it Travis, or someone we hadn't even suspected? Clara invited me for coffee a week later. "We helped people, Liam," she said. "My dad's proud, even if he doesn't know the half of it." Her words warmed me, but I could see the toll it had taken. She was moving away, chasing a fresh start. "This isn't over," she said. "There are more companies like Pinnacle." I nodded, but I wasn't ready to dive back in. Not yet. Then Hannah called. "Another company's pulling the same scam," she said. "You in?" My heart stirred. Was this my new fight, or was I too broken to keep going? I thought of the notes, the fear, the betrayal. But I also thought of the clients we'd saved. Maybe this was my path. Pinnacle's collapse was swift and final. Marcus and Evelyn faced charges, their wealth frozen. Natalie's career ended in disgrace, her name smeared across headlines. Clients recovered most of their funds, and Clara's dad sent me a thank you note, his words simple but heavy. I should have felt triumphant, but I didn't. Revenge hadn't healed me, it had shown me my limits, the cost of trust shattered. I'd started this fight for justice, but it had changed me, left me questioning everything. Clara moved to a new city, chasing a fresh start. "Keep fighting, Liam," she said over coffee before she left. Her eyes were bright, but tired. I wanted to promise I would, but I wasn't sure I had the strength. The notes had stopped, but I still checked my locks every night, half expecting another warning. Hannah's call about a new scam lingered in my mind. I'd started digging, cautiously, finding patterns that felt all too familiar. Another company, another web of lies. Was I ready to take it on? Revenge had taught me I wasn't the quiet Liam anymore. I'd found strength, not in anger, but in truth. I could fight, not with fists, but with evidence, with persistence. As I opened my laptop to review Hannah's latest lead, an email from Victor popped up. "There's more you don't know." My heart skipped. What secrets was he hiding? Was this the end, or just the start of a new battle?